Welcome to a new episode of Behind the Frontlines. Last episode, we began the restoration of the Firefly, with all the ups and downs that come with reviving an 80-year-old war machine. We prepared the tracks for a Sherman, and we cleared the workshop for a brand new and very exciting project.
Here we are a week or two after the hulls arrived back from sandblasting and painting, and we've already started to dry fit everything in for placement. Over here we've fitted on the auxiliary engine, or the donkey engine as some people refer to it, built the mounts, etc. And we now placed the battery box in for placements, the regulators also. And on this side we've got all the sponsons and bins and etc. Basically what we're doing now is dry fitting everything to get a real understanding as to where everything fits in regards to conduits, piping, electrical harnesses. Also in the Firefly, being that it's an IC with a hybrid hull, they had a different configuration in the whole dashboard area, and with here, the battery box. So the battery box is actually been fitted in and placed in, and also here we'll have an ammunition box that comes down. So we've had to start dry fitting things in and components to really understand if everything will fit in when we rebuild all the ammunition boxes. So we've fitted in the dashboard, our oddments box, and this periscope box here. And behind it you can also see there's a fire extinguisher. So we're still in the process of figuring out how the British really fit everything in. Given it's such a small space, they really tried to cram as much as possible in.
As we saw in the previous episode, the tracks are now ready to be fitted to our restored Sherman tank. But before installation, there's one important feature to explain: the track duckbills. Adrian, our parts design engineer, takes us through what duckbills are, why they were fitted to some Sherman tanks during World War II, and how he designed and recreated these components for our restoration project.
So, a very, very heavy vehicle, the Sherman, between 30-40 tons for the Sherman family most of the time, and not nice driving conditions during the war, could be through snow and mud. And in that case, having just rubber tracks that are not so wide compared to the size of the vehicle, that's just not enough to have any grip. So a quick fix that doesn't require to change the entire drivetrain of the vehicle is to add those little extensions on the side called the duckbills. These just weld onto the end connectors, which would be there anyhow to keep two track links together. And that's a modification that could be done easily on the field. So from the measurements taken in America, I made this 3D file of a loose duckbill, coming as close as possible to the original shape and look. So before we started the manufacturing, I 3D printed a prototype made from PLA plastic that can be made very quick and in a very affordable way, just with a regular 3D printer. And that was used to align onto end connectors such as this one, see if it would look right, like this. Would it look right? Would it be small enough that when the tracks bend, they do not interfere with each other? Just, does it, if you look at it, does it look right? That's most of the job. You can take measurements, but in the end, the thing has to look visually correct.
After extensive research and careful design work, the production of 180 duckbills could begin. Once manufactured, each duckbill was welded onto the track end connectors, recreating this important wartime modification. With the duckbills installed and the tracks ready to go back on the tank, the next step is to find a tool that every Sherman crew hoped they wouldn't need, but couldn't do without. We start by searching through our workshop for an original World War II track jack. This specialized tool was carried by Sherman crews to repair or reconnect a track in the field whenever it was thrown or damaged. Hooked onto the track links on either side of the gap, the jack's heavy threaded screw was slowly tightened, drawing the massive steel track ends together. As the links aligned, a connecting pin was driven into place, locking the track back into a continuous loop. The track jack we'll be using today is an original wartime example, exactly the type that would have accompanied Sherman crews during World War II. More than 80 years later, it is still capable of performing the job it was designed for. We'll come back later to see the final part of fitting the tracks to the Sherman. But while that's underway, there's another machine demanding our attention. And this one is something special. Sitting in the workshop is a vehicle that looks like it drove straight out of the final months of World War II. A German Jagdpanzer 38, better known as the Hetzer. Recently purchased by a customer at the Tracks and Trade auction, this little tank destroyer has arrived with one simple instruction: make it ready for Millitracks. The catch? We have just 6 months. Now, before anyone gets excited, this isn't a full nut and bolt restoration. The Hetzer is already a running vehicle, but it still needs a significant amount of work before it's ready for the spotlight. The engine, for example, smokes heavily and needs a thorough inspection to find out exactly what's going on. The interior has seen better days and requires a complete renovation. And while the vehicle currently wears a temporary paint scheme, our goal is to return it to its original wartime camouflage. Built in 1944, the Hetzer was Germany's answer to a simple problem. How do you build an effective tank destroyer quickly and cheaply? The result was a compact vehicle with heavily sloped armor, a powerful 7.5cm anti-tank gun, and a silhouette so low that spotting one before it spotted you was often a challenge. More than 2,500 were built during the final year of the war. And despite its modest size, the Hetzer earned a reputation as a dangerous opponent on the battlefield. Today, surviving examples are rare, which means this isn't just another workshop job. It's a chance to preserve an important piece of history. So, while the team starts drawing up the restoration plan and compiling a parts list for the Hetzer, we'll leave this project here for the moment. Because back in the workshop, Ben is making progress on another vehicle that we've been following closely, the Sherman Firefly.
Here we're working on the rotary base from the Firefly. The interesting thing is, it is Sherman, as you can see here. You zoom in here, you can see flaming bomb, which means it's American made, Sherman. But it was painted silver, and silver is typical British. So of course you can't confirm or deny if it's wartime used or not. Basically that means that it's a wartime item that could have been used in an original Firefly or Sherman of a similar model by the Brits. So what I'm going to do in the moment is basically cleaning the outside as best as I can, removing these junction blocks, getting these cables disconnected so I can clean everything nicely. With electrics, the most important thing is basically cleaning. If there's anything dirty, it doesn't want to work, especially on this old 80-year-old stuff. Here's the cover for the box, so this arrow will always stick on. Basically what this does is it gives you power from your batteries and all your systems from your dashboard, etc., through into your turret. So this will be bolted into your turret basket, and then this will be smack bang in the middle. This cover would go over like this. So, you see what it means? I painted all silver, so silver is typical British. And then this arrow is the direction of the vehicle, front of the vehicle. So this moves, see, with the turret, but this piece stays and doesn't move. So you always know the front direction. And all your electronics will be put through here, so for your lighting and your radios and everything, or your power, this will come via this rotary box. You see inside, it's very good condition. All the bushing, the carbon bushes and everything is still in there. It's very nice and complete and original. So all I'm going to do is clean it up nicely. I've already started on here. Started cleaning the outside as well. Obviously doing something like sandblasting or whatever for this will just ruin it. So all I've done is just go over it with a wire wheel and some sanding, some pieces of sandpaper and whatever. And yeah, strip now the junction blocks up here for the power. So your power cables will come through here. The main power here, and then all your separate cables in there for your lights, etc. So it basically connects the bottom part of your tank to the top part. And obviously, because the turret spins, yeah, you need something that moves. So this whole thing moves, and the bottom doesn't. You see? That's why they call it a rotary base. Yeah, it's quite a cool piece of engineering. And the American ones are known for being extremely robust. We've never had an experience where we need to like strip one down completely, replace all the parts. They're always in really good condition. So yeah, now we strip it down and clean it up nicely.
Next time we'll continue rebuilding the Sherman Firefly and see it move one step closer to becoming the vehicle it was over 80 years ago. We'll also begin work on our newly arrived Hetzer, and if experience has taught us anything, there will almost certainly be a few surprises along the way. But until then, that's all from us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time in the workshop of Behind the Frontlines.